Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now June 28th of 2024, and given that The Acolyte Episode 6 looms for Disney Plus, we only have 3 episodes remaining of this thing, and so far it has been an utter disaster. We know that Episode 5 wasn't enough to save this show, nor was it enough for anyone to feel anything for the characters that were lost in Episode 5. Now look, that's the biggest argument right now. Well, it may have a decent lightsaber duel to some fans out there. I beg to differ. I thought it was very much lackluster because you don't really feel anything for the characters. You really can't see exactly what's going on without squinting your eyes because it's so dark, depending on the brightness of your screen when watching those fights. And of course, the final thing is that the lack of proper music really takes away the emotional presence of the lightsaber fights in this episode. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You could also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. So we all know that Kathleen Kennedy and Leslie Headland have been heading into ongoing damage control over the series. They are trying to protect this show at all costs. They will never admit failure, they will never admit defeat, and nor will they ever admit that this show was not catered to the fans. It is not only lore breaking, but it is also, of course, something that is so terribly written. The acting is just subpar, if you even want to say that. That might be even me being a bit too nice there. But looking at everything else with The Acolyte, there's no doubt about it that it's showing no signs of improvement with the last couple of episodes that are set to drop throughout July. Now, interestingly enough, there's been a lot of things going on between Leslie Headland and the Disney heads, including Bob Iger, the CEO. Let's get into this. Now, with Acolyte director and showrunner Leslie Headland already actively heading into damage control and panic after The Acolyte Episode 5 failed to deliver or reverse the effects of the backlash. One major development that has been going on that recently got worse involves more to do with Leslie Headland losing millions of dollars in the midst of the Acolyte Rotten Tomatoes score on the audience level remaining in the 13 to 14% range. Now, one crucial update to this scenario involves how Leslie has been in a back-and-forth battle with the Disney heads after Bob Iger and the executives/board members decided to remove Headland from multiple Star Wars projects that, of course, as it turns out, was going to be a multi-million-dollar deal that now reportedly was going to, of course, be as high as $35 million altogether between various Star Wars films, TV shows, and even a promotion at Lucasfilm. This also involved Marvel projects under Disney's wing. One significant part to this update involves how Bob Iger and the board recently finalized these plans just days ago that went under some revisions where Leslie is now officially no longer a part of working on the upcoming untitled Star Wars film, for example, that is going to also include James Mangold. Headland was agreed upon by Disney to become a part of that film as a co-writer to handle the events of the Star Wars universe 25,000 years before The Phantom Menace, which she was recently, of course, let go from and laid off from working on. In addition to that, Headland was also forced out from working on a new untitled Star Wars series for 2027 that was going to serve as a spin-off to, get this, the upcoming Rey Star Wars film that is actively in the works right now that would focus on the Jedi 10 years after the events of The Rise of Skywalker. Now, Headland was also booted from this project after the massive failure of The Acolyte, and also by causing trouble behind the scenes with the Disney heads for demanding a higher payout as a co-writer and of course as a director of some of those projects. Of those two projects in particular as a co-writer, just as a few examples on top of what we previously discussed. Now, Headland reportedly lost out on a total of 5 Star Wars projects that we know of, 2 of which were going to be Acolyte spin-off shows, and not even the Acolyte Season 2, of course, is going to make up for those losses. Season 2 is already in complete shambles after getting cancelled after the second trailer dropped. However, that has been a back-and-forth drama behind the scenes, where those like Kathleen Kennedy and Leslie Headland have been rattling, of course, all the drama throughout Disney and Lucasfilm to reinstate Season 2 ASAP. Headland reportedly was very emotional behind the scenes at Lucasfilm since the drama between the Lucasfilm story group, who has her back, by the way, and the Disney heads, has been so extreme and has been rattling throughout all of the Walt Disney Company. Now guys, let me just say one thing about this, is that Dave Filoni has been sticking up for Leslie Headland over at Lucasfilm, trying to protect her as a creator, trying to keep her over at the company, company, trying to prevent Disney's overall plan by axing her from all those projects moving forward. Now look, it's all finalized. Disney doesn't want anything to do with Headland anymore. They know that she's way too extreme. They can't use her again because not only is her face so familiar to Star Wars fans because of all the terrible interviews that she has done on screen, but we all know her name now as much as we know Rian Johnson. This is why, by the way, we have heard nothing about the Rian Johnson trilogy. Disney will never admit defeat. They will never say outright, oh yeah, the Rian Johnson trilogy is completely cancelled. Now, Kathleen Kennedy did touch on that. She said, oh, there's no such thing as axing projects, or shelving projects, to be more specific, is what she said. There's no such thing as shelving. We don't shelve, Kathleen Kennedy said not so long ago, and that she only puts them on the back burner, so that they can go back to them years later if they want to. Well, let me just say one thing about Kathleen Kennedy, that is nothing more than damage control as well. It's basically diverting from all the different questions about what was going on with Johnson's trilogy. We all know it's cancelled, and what happened behind the scenes between, of course, not just the Bob Chapek era, but when Bob Iger came back into the equation, that only cemented that further. Now, what's interesting about this moving onwards is that on top of this, Headland's multi-million-dollar deal after new updates is now said to have been, like I said before, a deal of as high as $35 million altogether between the films and the TV shows for Star Wars and a couple of Marvel projects that Leslie lost out on, and it's causing her a massive meltdown behind the scenes since she is already preparing to take some form of legal action, claiming that Disney made her contract final when that really was not the case. And look, I'm not defending Leslie Headland by any means, but it's not so surprising that either Disney did this in the right or wrong way. Whether or not they did, I wouldn't be too shocked if they did finalize her contract and pulled out and really did something that really is, very complex and may very well be illegal in some areas. Because of what we saw with those Disney tapes, everything that has been leaked about the Disney company and how dirty they really are. So look, we know that there's a lot of things going on with Lucasfilm as a division of the Walt Disney Company. We all know what's been going on there, and everything that has been going on with Bob Iger's cost-cutting measures about making less and spending less, kind of trying to balance things out, until 2026 when he plans to step down. This way he can claim, yeah, we didn't lose money because of our cost-cutting measures. But regardless of the fact, alright, yes, Inside Out 2 was a success. I will admit that. We can't really lie about that at all. But that may very well be a one-off apart from what's going on with Deadpool and Wolverine. And that's all thanks to Ryan Reynolds, Shawn Levy, and the creators behind the film taking a stand against Disney. So yeah, I really do hope that we get more creators like that, taking a stand against the studio heads and really just dangling the carrot. If you want us to create these things, you gotta back off on your DEI agenda. That's how it should be done by a lot of new creators coming, forward against Disney. So overall, I would like to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.